tight ends in this new system?
Yeah, so one major thing I think about when I think about the new offense and different stuff coming in, we don't have John Chanel anymore. So 21, not to say that that's not going to be like our thing, but that was like our main thing to go to, was having Ferg and John Chanel in the game all the time. So we're going to definitely be relying more on 12, 13, 12, 22 personnel to get the tight end in the slot or in different spots where it's a mismatch for the defense. So I think that's a main thing for us, is we're trying to find different ways that we can create those mismatches with tight ends.
What stood out about Clay and his coming back from what's obviously a pretty gruesome injury?
He's relentless, man. I've thank God I've never had to go through an injury like that, but to be able to get up from that and come back and already be walking, running, and so far in his recovery process, I think that speaks to him, and his will. Somebody who's been through all that, and you're still going to find a way to keep pushing. So, I love that for Clay, and I love him, and that's something that isn't for the weak, man. Something like that can put people out for a long time, and he's already, way ahead of most people. So,
what could an injury maybe teach you about just maybe appreciating the opportunities you have to play? Because he was telling me that some thoughts kind of crossed his mind, like, would he ever be able to run again, or would he be himself again?
Yeah, and I mean, injuries like that you can't prevent. There's some things that you just can't look forward to. You can't foresee that happening. So I think things like that, you have to be strong. You need to be mentally tough. You got to be able to deal with those things and deflect them and keep going up. So I think there's no preventing that. Doing extra treatment, doing extra stretching, that doesn't stop you from being in a pile and somebody landing on your legs. So I think he did all that he could, and he's working his ass off to get back to where he wants to be. So
for you, how those extra with Clay, Jack, Cam out, how have you seen yourself take advantage of the reps? And it's been through 11 practices. How have you seen yourself grow in this time?
Having Esh and Clay on the sidelines, behind me, always giving me their perspective and helping me in my technique, I think it's been great. It's allowed me to really open up and be vulnerable and say, okay, this is what I need to work on. These are things I'm not great at. What are you guys doing to get better at? What are you guys doing that makes you successful that I can incorporate in my own game? And that's the same with Cam, and when Cole was out as well. That's the kind of group we are. We love just communicating and using the knowledge we have to help each other out. So
with Hayden, how have you seen him grow? And just I know that Chris earlier today mentioned that he doesn't see him just as a blocker, but someone that can be an every down tight end too. How have you seen him take advantage of these reps?
For him, I know that the blocking for him, it comes easy. That's his thing, and I just see himself growing in pass game. Like, you see him getting open on seam routes, you see him getting open on digs and basic routes, crosses, shallows, things like that, just based off of just his footwork, just off of just his detail stuff. Those little things are what allow him to be so good, and I think that's what's allowing him to succeed in spring ball this year. So
what about Cole? He's another guy we haven't really seen a ton of, but when he's out there, what do you think he could give you guys?
He's another one of those guys where he's just a dominant blocker, and he can also run routes, and he can also pick up that pace, pick up that speed. One thing to know about both of those guys, they're special teams guys too. They're on almost every unit as well, so they're their range is really good. And I think that's something that the group is kind of being held to, is like, we need to be able to do everything, and we also need to be able to be really good at certain things as well. So I think that's their strong suit.
Appreciate it.
So just with the offense, I think you didn't ask this before, but just the tight end role compared to years past, how would you describe, I think he may have described it being a little bit simpler, but how would you describe the tight end's responsibilities, coming over now with the infusion of Bobby, who obviously had success with tight ends in Baltimore, and Chris is also teaching too? Yeah.
I mean, taking advantage of the things we have has kind of been the main thing for us, being able to do everything. We got to pass, protect, we got to catch passes, we got to run block, we got to be able to do everything. So I think having Coach Ingram have coached people like Mark Andrews who do it all, it's been super helpful. And his insight on certain instances where he'll come over and he'll say, this is my little piece about that, and then it keeps going. And the more we get comfortable with each other, the more we get comfortable in the offense, I think the better things are to come, and I think the sky's the limit for us. So
did I see, I haven't been on the field for the past week, but you and him, he's been throwing the ball to you and whatnot.
Yeah.
What extra things has he been doing with you?
Yeah, he's just helping like little things, because coming from outside backer, there's a lot of little things that I wasn't necessarily taught. So things like my hand placement, finger placement on the ball, when the ball's low, have your pinkies together. So just little tidbits on what I can do to improve little parts of my game, and then keep stacking them. The longer I'm with him, the more things he's going to see and be able to correct. So having him around has been a blessing, and I'm just excited to see what we can do together.